Thank you, brothers. It's good to be with you today. Exciting. I had attended 2 grand chapters when I was in school, and it's nice to be back. We thought we would take this time to naturally leave enough time for you to ask questions of us, but really to let you know the impact that Sigma Nu had on our lives, why we chose Sigma Nu, what we learned from Sigma Nu, and then give you a little bit of a direction on our career paths. But I can tell you, it's an absolute honor working for somebody who understands what you all care about and what you all believe in. We're all in this room for the same reason. And I didn't know that Ken was a Sigma Nu. I didn't know that he was commander of his house as well, but I should have known, because he's a man who cares deeply about others. He cares about integrity, truth, honor. He walks it every day. So I shouldn't have even had to ask what fraternity he was in. And it was quite ironic when we both learned that we were Sigma Nus, that we were both commanders. In fact, his younger brother was also a Sigma Nu and a commander as well. And now his son, you talk about legacy, is is a candidate to pledge Sigma Nu as well at the University of Georgia. And his son, who's very bright, has a full ride scholarship, which you wouldn't think that he needs a full ride scholarship, but he got one. So at this time, I thought I'd turn it over to Ken to say a few words, and then we'll let you know a little bit more about ourselves and about our company.
Well, thanks, Derrick. All scholarships are not need-based, as many of you would know, and I'm very proud of my son. He's here in the audience with my brother. They came to be here, be a part of the Sigma Nu family. You know, the Sigma Nu experience has really been a central part of my whole life, and I've just turned 70 years old, and so I've been a Sigma Nu for just about 50 years. And you know, I think back to that part of my life and the days on campus as an active member of the Gamma Pi chapter as really some of the greatest days that I have lived on this earth. And for those of you who are actives these days, you need to really understand that as you go forward into your life. This is the time in your life where you will make the most significant and lasting friendships that you will ever have. And so for me to be here and to talk with you at this later stage of my life and to maybe share some experiences from those days of long ago, hopefully will give some flavor to what Sigma Nu has meant to me and what it can mean to you, and probably already is beginning to as you're now on active duty. Derrick and I, as he said, we came to work together some years ago, neither of us knowing the other had been Sigma Nus in our collegiate life, and you know, he was complimentary to me, and I can be to him. I mean, he's a man of very high integrity, a man who understands about the importance of giving back and being a leader, and he has done an incredible job with our franchise. And I'm very proud that he's the president and CEO of the Diamondbacks.
Well, looking back at my time at Arizona State, and when I was there, our house was by far the most superior on campus. And I knew right away that's where I wanted to pledge. I knew that's where I wanted to become a member of a fraternity, was right there at Sigma Nu. And everybody was envious of our house. You know, we had the pool, the volleyball court, the library, the doctor's office. And one thing that I admired from afar was how much that house did philanthropically. And it really taught me at an early age how important it was to give back. Ken just used the words give back. That's really what this is about. Most importantly, you know, you are going to make friends for life. You're going to have these ideals, these philosophies that you will live by, that you've learned from Sigma Nu. But equally as important is giving back and caring for others. That's really what Sigma Nu is about. That's who we're about as an organization. It's caring about others, giving back to others. We try and treat our fans, our players, our employees better than any team in sports, and I think we do. We're considered the most fan-friendly team in sports. We'll get into that in a little bit. But it really, these are the ideals that each and every one of you are practicing on a daily basis, or I hope you are, because you have to believe each and every day in those words of the creed. And I can remember before every meal in the fraternity, we would get up and we would recite that creed before we ate. And we not only said it, they were words that we lived by, and we still live by them today. So it's nice to be, you know, partner with someone who has those same ideals, those same beliefs, and you all can too. And this is somewhat of a frightening time in a lot of your lives. You know, you're enjoying school, you're making friends for life, but you also know that it's coming to an end here soon, and the real world hits, and it's not an easy time to go get a job. So we'll give you a little advice there as well on what you need to do to take that next step forward. But you know, Ken is somebody who I admire. He's been a mentor to me. Each and every one of you in this room needs a mentor, someone to look up to, and ideally, it's someone who is a Sigma Nu and who lives by those characteristics each and every day. But learning from Ken, business ethics. We talk about ethical leadership. You know, what does that truly mean? Well, it's governing the right way. It's not being dishonest. It's showing integrity each and every day. It's, as he likes to say, he has a fiduciary responsibility to his partners, to his employees, to his fans. That's the way we need to live our lives each and every day, and I'm just blessed to be able to learn from Ken.
I want to take a couple of minutes and be a little nostalgic, if you'll allow. Go back to the days of the 60s on campus at West Virginia, and as Derrick was referencing his days at ASU, one of the things that was so attractive to me about the Sigma Nu chapter at West Virginia is it was truly a campus leader, and I think that it's fair to say during the years that I was an active, and then for years later under my brother's leadership after me, we were really, I think, considered by most to be, if not the top fraternity on campus, certainly one of them. And by way of referencing, and it's maybe a little braggadocio, but it's a lot of years ago, and so I want to wax on a minute about some of the things that happened during my time on campus. We were the leading academic fraternity. We always had the top grade point average. The 4 years that I was an active, we won the intramural championship on campus for all 4 years. The 4 years that I was an active, we won the prestigious, in those days, Mother's Day Sing, which maybe doesn't even exist. I know it doesn't go on in West Virginia any longer, and it was an era, a time in life where things were, let's say, they were a little more pristine than they are today. And the Mother's Day Sing was one of those incredible events where a band of brothers came together and learned a very, very difficult song, a four-part song to sing in front of an audience of thousands on Mother's Day, guys dressed in tuxes, marching up on stage and singing. And it was only after months and months of practice that we were able to learn these songs, and some of us who really aren't blessed with the greatest of voices learned to be a part of a chorus that performed at a level that recordings were made of these songs. They were good enough. And we won the Mother's Day Sing 4 years in a row. We had two of my closest friends, one, my mentor as a boy from my hometown. His name is Larry Christian. Larry was our leader the first two of those 4 years, and his younger brother, Wayne, who was my roommate and is my dear friend and who I spoke to just a couple of days ago to tell him that I was coming here and to get him to remind me the specifics so that I would get it right on the Mother's Day Sing. But the older brother was the song leader 2 years. The younger brother was the song leader 2 years. We retired the cup that had been around for more than 50 years. After winning it 4 straight times, you got to retire it. And the kind of there's a poignancy in that, and it's the following thing. It follows that these are brothers for life, and one of the two, Larry, the older of the two, has recently passed away. And a memorial was held, and I was honored to be one of the speakers at the memorial. And sitting next to Larry's ashes was the Mother's Day Cup from 50 years ago. And you know what that says is Sigma Nu is for life and beyond. And it's one of those things that you know, I look back with great fondness, great memories, and it was this type of activity was something that truly shows that a group of men, of young men, who are committed to a purpose, no matter what your talent level is, you can achieve if you're focused and you're dedicated, and we were, and we had a great success with that, and we had great success with many other things. So that time of active duty at Sigma Nu was a wonderful, wonderful experience that I've been able to carry with me for my whole life.
And Ken is going to sing a few of those Mother's Day songs in just a few minutes for you.
I did bring the recording, and I'm sure all of you will want to listen.
But the same experience that we had, because we were, I think we were a little biased, but I think we were the best house, as I mentioned, on campus. We too won intramurals each and every year, but it was so competitive. We wanted to win what we called cotton. Winning that shirt, the point of pride that you were the champs. We won Greek Sing. So very similarly, we were paired up with a sorority, and we'd put on an entire act. And we won Greek Sing, I think, 3 out of the 4 years that I was at the house. We were competitive. And each and every one of you in this room are competitive. You're driven, and a lot of it is because of this foundation. You want to be a part of the best chapter. You want to be a part of the best house. You want to win. And that's good. It's positive to be competitive and aggressive, and in life you should do the same. We're in a business where we compete. And some years are up, some years are down. This would be one of the bad years for us. We've had a number of injuries. That's not you can't make excuses, but when you have 12 guys on the DL, including your ace starter and, your eighth inning guy and your left fielder and your center fielder, and goes on, you're probably not going. Shortstop. Yeah, you're not going to win. And that's why we are where we are. But we can't control that. Teams, that's baseball. We can't control the results on the field. We try. And we make as many moves as we can, but we can control everything off of the field. And as an organization, we always say we try to find a way to win even when we lose. And we've naturally had to have a lot of that this year. And the way that we win off the field is, as I mentioned, our treatment of our fans, our fan experience, giving back to the community. In fact, we created what we call our circle of success. And if you walk through our hallways, you'll see it proudly displayed in the hallways. It's in everybody's office, everybody's cubicle. They all have pocket versions as well. And it's the 5 main areas of focus for our organization. And it's financial efficiency, it's performance, basically on the field. It's culture, very important, near and dear to Ken and I. We'll get into that. Community and fan experience. So you can really take each and every one of those. From a financial efficiency standpoint, this man saved our franchise. Before he took over, as managing general partner, the Arizona Diamondbacks were going to go bankrupt. We were going to be the first team in Major League Baseball to go bankrupt, and Major League Baseball was going to close our gates. And Ken restructured. He brought in other investors. He saved the franchise, and today we are economically healthy because of him. We lost in the first 7 years of our franchise 370.
Our CFO is here. He'll certify we lost $350 million.
$350 million in your first 7 years. That's not financially efficient, so we changed that in a hurry. When you look at fan experience, again, being named the most fan-friendly team in sports, there's a reason for that. Fan experience is everything from affordability to cleanliness to safety. When you walk through Chase Field, you'd be amazed how clean it is, how many different destinations of the ballpark there are, no matter what you're looking for. If you're looking for a good time, you go to our Coors Light zone. If you're looking for all you can eat, you go to the all you can eat seats. If you have kids, you go up to the Sandlot and let them play, where we have many Chase Field replica stadiums there and guys in uniform throwing and teaching how to hit. Wherever you're trying to get to, we have destinations, whatever you're looking for. That's part of fan experience. Our as we call it, DBTV, some of the best in-game entertainment on our HD TV board. We have the most affordable baseball ticket in all of Major League Baseball, and we have been for about 7 straight years. Our fan cost index, it's calculated by a family of 4 going to a ball game. It includes parking, 2 programs, 4 hot dogs, 4 sodas, 2 beers, 4 baseball caps. Ours is the lowest by far and continues to be. We're proud of that. We could charge more, we could make more, but we don't think that's important during this economic time. When the economy and the recession hit a few years ago and the economy took a turn, we got hit harder in our market, probably harder than any other in baseball other than maybe Detroit. And so Ken and I made the decision to not gouge the fans. We allow fans to bring in their own food, bring in their own water. We have family value pricing. You walk through our ballpark, we have the most affordable beer in baseball, a $4 14-ounce beer. We have $1.50 kids food items, hot dog, corn dog, popcorn, soda, milk, every game $1.50. You go in our team shop now, you can buy a baseball cap for under $10. You can buy a shirt for under $10. You can't do that anywhere else. So we're very unique. We're trying to find a way to win even when we lose. And that's what everybody in this room does too. You always have to find a way to win. Every day say, I'm going to be a little bit better today than I was yesterday. And it's very difficult in a sport like ours because our emotions ride high with the way the team is playing. And I can tell you, if we win, my meal tastes great, my pillow feels great. You know, when we lose, it's terrible, and everybody in the house scatters and gets away from me. My emotions are up and down, and it's tough in a season like this, but you have to remember and pinch yourselves. You know, Ken likes to say we're in the business of creating smiles and making memories. And I get chills thinking about it every time. This is what I wanted to do with my career. And Ken's career took a much different path to get him here, and I want him to tell you about that. And then I'll tell you a little bit about how I got into baseball, and then we'll take your questions.
Yeah, let me digress a moment and talk about a little bit about my background coming out of West Virginia and going out into a business life, and I bring it up just to give illustration of the opportunities that life presents and the challenges that life presents, because I've had both. And out of college, I went to work for the IBM company back in the 60s, and 2 to 3 years into that, not knowing very much, I decided to start on a life of being an entrepreneur. And probably looking back, I was single at the time. I probably wouldn't have done it had I been married. But fortunately, I only had myself to support, and I thought that maybe I would never do it if I didn't do it then. And to my good fortune, it ultimately worked out. But it wasn't without great trial. And I think that's the point of what I would say about my life. As an entrepreneur, and I've been an entrepreneur in many different settings over now a lot of years, is that nothing that is worthwhile in life, is without trial. And what really is the test of all of us is how we deal with the adversity that life presents us. And in my first business venture, which fortunately ultimately succeeded, has become a successful worldwide company in the software industry. The first couple of years were anything but success. And my original partner that I started with left after year one. And I was kind of put in a position where people who had backed us, friends and family who had put up some money to help us get started, I just couldn't walk away. I just couldn't leave. And thankfully, that inner calling to never give up, which is what the point is, never give up, made all the difference. At the end of the first year of our business, I decided to try to show some leadership in a way that was not easy, but it really had an impact. And I brought all the employees together after my partner was going to leave and go off to go back into a large company, and called everybody together and said, look, I think we should give this another try, and I think we can make it, and I'll step up and I'll make a commitment to stay here and work for this company to try to make it successful without a paycheck. So year two in my enterprise, I worked for free. I got others to make some accommodations to their incomes. And during that second year, kind of a magical moment occurred. I met a young man who was recently out of college, whose family had an insurance company, and he was new to the company, helping his dad automate the company back in those days. And we kind of hit it off, and he gave us the opportunity to develop some software to run this insurance company. And it really was a turning moment in my entire life. Had that occasion not occurred, the company may not have succeeded. But It came together for us. We built the business. We, without going into a long story beyond what I've said, the point being, don't give up. Just give it everything you have in whatever it is you're doing. And if you do that, if you have talent and you have commitment, likely good things can happen. And certainly, when I look back to that almost 50 years ago now, good things happened for me, and they happened because we were committed and we were willing to hang in there under the most adverse of circumstance. So I would commend to you, one of the things as you go forward into your life is you're going to face adversity, and how your life is going to be defined is how you deal with the adversity that you're presented with.
And his company became and still is today the largest of its kind in the world. That's overcoming adversity. We're both cancer survivors as well, and that's overcoming adversity. Never giving up, the theme that Ken has now challenged you with, is something that I lived my life by. And at Arizona State University, I knew about halfway through that I wanted to be in baseball, in Major League Baseball. That was the sport that I loved. It was the sport that I grew up watching and wanting to be a part of. I was a big Dodger fan in LA growing up as a kid. Ken was a big Reds fan and then became an Orioles fan. He always loved baseball. His father and his brother, it was something very near and dear to them. My father was a great baseball player, a catcher. He loved baseball. He always wanted to be a part of it. And so I think maybe I was trying to please him, but it became a driven meaning for me to get into Major League Baseball, and I didn't know how. So I was majoring at the time in broadcast journalism, figured I would get in through sports broadcasting of some sort. Left Arizona State University, had 3 or 4 jobs, just trying to make ends meet with my wife, who I met as a Sigma Nu, and she was a Kappa, and I pinned her with my Sigma Nu pin, and we're still together well over 27 years. But she and I were trying to figure out where we were going with our lives, and my dad called me one day and said, turn on ESPN real quick. There's a program about a graduate school that prepares you for sports. And I turned it on, and it was about Ohio University and their sports administration program. It was the first of its kind. And there, they were preparing people for careers in sports. It was started by Walter O'Malley, the owner of the Los Angeles Dodgers and Brooklyn Dodgers before that, who was tired of former players moving into the front office, who really had no business acumen whatsoever. And so he went to his buddy who helped build Dodger Stadium, the owner of Unocal 76, and said, would you help me with this? Would you help invest in this so that we can train, we can educate people to run our businesses as sports professionals? And he said, I will, but it's got to be at my alma mater at Ohio University, and that's why it was there. So I decided to apply. I went to Ohio University, and I got in this pressure-packed interview, and I thought I nailed it. Thought I had all the right answers. I went back, told my wife, I said, okay, let's pack up. We're going to be moving to Athens, Ohio for a couple of years when I get my degree. And a couple of weeks later, I got a rejection letter in the mail. And there were 5,000 of us that had applied. I was one of the finalists, and they were only taking 25 spots in the school. So it's understandable why maybe you don't make it. But I was shocked, I was devastated, and I was determined to do it on my own anyway. So I went to winter baseball meetings in Miami, Florida at the Fontainebleau Hotel, and I was sitting in a room, career building room, much like this, and we're sitting around with 500-600 other people trying to get jobs, and we're knocking each other over, trying to get to the pinups that they put on the wall with job openings, and you run over and you're trying to get assistant groundskeeper at the Mud Hens for $500 a year, and I had finally said, this is enough, I'm not doing this either, and I walk out and I'm depressed, I just spent all the money I had to fly out to Florida, and I see in the lobby of the hotel where they have today's events, and it was Ohio University Sports Administration alumni reception, Suite 600. And I said, that's a party I'm going to crash. So I went into that suite, and I walked straight to the back of that suite, and I went up to the director who had turned me down, and I said, I don't know if you remember me. He said, nah, not really. I said, well, I interviewed, I applied, I didn't make it. I think you made a mistake. Let me tell you why. And I chewed this poor gentleman's ear off for about an hour, and he finally said, just come back. No guarantees, but come back. So I went back. And this time I got it. And of the 25 of us, 18 wanted to get into Major League Baseball. And there was only one internship at the Dodgers. That was the only internship. And I was determined to get it, never give up. I got that internship, worked my way up through the Dodger organization, ultimately to senior vice president role, and was